Before we get this podcast started, we want to let you in on a little something. If you shop on Amazon like, I don't know, everybody, instead of going straight to Amazon.com to do your shopping, do your friends at Polititainment a favor. You see, Polititainment.net is an Amazon partner. So here's what that means if you want to shop on Amazon. Instead of going to Amazon.com directly, go to Polititainment.net. You'll see an Amazon banner at the top of the page. You click on that banner, and it takes you to Amazon. You buy stuff like always, but a portion of everything you buy goes to Polititainment. Shop on Amazon and help us grow at the same time. Again, just go to Polititainment.net and click on the Amazon banner at the top of the page. Now, enjoy the show.
This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9.
Joining me at this time is radio talk show host and conservative media lightning rod Jason DeWilkins.
I appreciate you, brother, for having me.
Dude, I'm about to start seriously calling you my brother from another mother, because you are saying the same things that I've been saying.
In this hour, you will be informed, entertained, and possibly offended. From the Kensington Place Studios, it's time for According to Me.
Outrage in Ferguson once again. Van Halen's in the news, and we're about to settle that debate. A story involving a now convicted sex offender that will infuriate you for a reason you may not think. Oh, and by the way, we're celebrating a special birthday today, and they also happen to be the asshat of the week. That and more coming up here on According to Me. You're listening, of course, to According to Me, Barack Obama and John Boehner's second most hated internet radio program, the 2-hour show that lasts 60 minutes. So glad that you guys are here this evening. You, of course, can participate in a couple different ways. For those of you who are in the chat room at K98talk.com/chat room, thank you for being in there. Please communicate with me and with each other throughout the program so we can chat back and forth. Also, you can follow me on Twitter if you want to talk offline, before the show, after the show, and in between. You can follow me on Twitter at ATM_show. That is at ATM_SHOW, where you get a slice of common sense conservatism, classic liberalism, and ADHD in 140 characters or less. Also like me on Facebook, facebook.com/According to Me Show. Click like. You'll get all that stuff. But we're going to talk about other things later on in the program. All those things I mentioned are coming up. But we're going to start this week with the title of this episode is Barack Bottom. And Barack Obama said something late last week, early this week, that is one of those jaw-dropping moments where I go, I cannot believe he says the things he says and no one questions it. No one talks about it. And when you think of the greatest hits of Obama, I mean, there's plenty to think of. I mean, if you like your plan, you can keep it. We're going to put out a bill. Every bill's going to be on the internet, so you can see it, and you can know what we're going to vote on. Yeah, that's happened, right? You remember that one? The only way to ensure accountability is to have transparency, so the American people can know they're being well served. Yes, because this has been, to quote the president, the most transparent administration in the history of America. If you spread the wealth around, it's better for everyone. Remember Joe the plumber? You won't see your taxes raised one dime. That hasn't happened. You didn't build that. But all of the greatest hits that Barack Obama said. And yet, when you look at some of the things that have been said just recently, everyone's kind of like, yeah, I know, but I mean, that's old news, right? That's what the left does. They move on to something that's more pressing, more concerning, right? And when you look at what the media is paying attention to, is Obama recently was at a conference, a roundtable discussion at Georgetown University. And if you Google Obama Georgetown, this is the headlines you'll get is Obama rips on Fox News. Obama owns Fox News with all of this. This is what the media's focus on, this clip right here.
If you watch Fox News on a regular basis, it is a constant menu. They will find, like, folks who make me mad. I don't know where they find them, right? They're all like, I don't want to work. I just want a free Obama phone or whatever. And that becomes an entire narrative, right?
Yeah, I mean, it just, the Fox Newses of the world, they're the ones who just stir the drink when it comes to getting people to hate poor people, and they find, like, these crazy people who don't want to work, you know, because no one really does that, but somehow Fox News can just uncover these people and put them out there, and it's crazy how they find these people. It makes me mad that people are even thinking that way here in America. I mean, I can understand why there's that narrative that's out there. That's the big story. All over the internet, that's the big thing he said. Now, if you actually listen to almost everything he says in its entirety at Georgetown, that is nothing in comparison to some of the things he said at. And when I say Barack Bottom is the name of this episode, it's because I can't imagine a leader of our country, regardless of side, political side, ever saying these kind of things. But yet, it's happened before. We'll get to that here in a second. But instead of talking about Fox News, the Obamas have gone on the class warfare path for like the last couple of weeks. It's now about you got to get respect here in America, and just because you earn things doesn't mean you get respected because the color of your skin may dictate that. Right? That's what Michelle Obama said at Tuskegee, of all places. These are college graduates. The Obamas are on the war path in regards to, look, we got to get a leg up now. You know, it's time for us to get ours. Okay? These are folks who, just touching on Michelle Obama, for a race of people to be 11% of the United States, you continue to hear this BS that's perpetuated that we are still the America of Jim Crow. We are still the America of the 50s and 60s and Selma and all of it. We still haven't, we shall overcome. You know, that's still going on. We still have no justice. We have no equality, all of that. You have a woman who's the first lady of the president, whose husband's name is Barack Hussein Obama, who pretty handily won in 2008 and 2012. A person whose race, again, the side of the fence he claims to be, not the other part, not the white part, just the black part. 11% of the population is what African Americans, what the black communities are in the United States, 11%. And yet, this incredibly racist country voted for the black guy twice, pretty overwhelmingly. But we still haven't gotten our 40 acres and a mule. We still haven't gotten our justice. We still haven't got what we deserve, what we have coming to us. And now you continue the class warfare. Listen to this. Listen, these are some of the other sound bites from Georgetown that absolutely sicken me.
There's always been a strain in American politics where you've got the middle class, and the question's been, who are you mad at if you're struggling? If you're working, but you don't seem to be getting ahead.
Who are you mad at if you're working and you don't seem to be getting ahead? Listen, when I graduated high school and I went from crappy job to crappy job, I got to level with you. I was mad at myself. See, instead Obama says if you're struggling, you need to be mad at others for your struggles. It's not your fault that you're struggling. It's not your fault you didn't go to school. It's not your fault that you don't apply yourself. It's not your fault that you haven't chased your dream or found your calling. No, the man is keeping you down. Who are you mad at? It's either rich white people or poor people. Fox News is making you hate poor people. Right? Who are you mad at? The President of the United States said this, folks. And who says this but a progressive who feels that it's their lifelong duty to level the playing field, and the only way the field can be leveled is by big government. That's it. Bottom line. Then he goes on to say this.
And over the last 40 years, sadly, I think there's been an effort to either make folks mad at folks at the top or to be mad at folks at the bottom.
So there's been an effort to make people mad at the top or the bottom. Not the middle, just the top and the bottom. Now, again, you heard a little bit ago, Fox News is a station that are making people mad at the people at the bottom. But that's one of the only media outlets that you'll hear ever bring up that people may happen to be sponges every once in a while when it comes to the poors. Now, just Google MSNBC and wealthy, and you will be bombarded with results of, their whole damn network is based on kissing Obama's ass and attacking rich white establishment types. That's what the whole network is based on. 90% of the media is on the left who constantly attacks the people at the top. And again, remember, let me play this for you again. Listen to what he says, because I'm going to play something right after that, and you'll go, what the hell is he talking about? Again, let me play that again for you.
And over the last 40 years, sadly, I think there's been an effort to either make folks mad at folks at the top or to be mad at folks at the bottom.
Again, there's an effort to make people mad at the top or the bottom. Then 2 minutes later, he says this.
25 hedge fund managers made more. 25 hedge fund managers made more than all the kindergarten teachers in the country. So when I say that, I'm not saying that because I dislike hedge fund managers or I think they're evil. I'm saying that you're paying a lower rate than a lot of folks who are making $300,000 a year. You pretty much have more than you'll ever be able to use and your family will ever be able to use. There's a fairness issue involved here. And by the way, if we were able to close that loophole, I can now invest in early childhood education that will make a difference. That's where the rubber hits the road. That's, Arthur, where the question of compassion, I'm my brother's keeper, comes into play. And if we can't ask from society's lottery winners to just make that modest investment, then really this conversation is for show.
I live in Indiana, and every day I've been going to the gas station, and I buy $5 worth of Hoosier Hedge Fund Manager Bingo, because I'm hoping I win the societal lottery, right? Because, that's how you get to be a hedge fund manager, is you are blessed with this just amazing, you just fall into this position and make billions of dollars. That's how it works. And it's a little scratch-off game. It's Hoosier Hedge Fund Manager Bingo. And the way it works is if you get 5 piles of cash in a row, you automatically become a hedge fund manager. It's a sweet deal. The lottery would be great, but this is like a really, you know how they sometimes will say $2,000 every week for life, those kind of games? This one I think is way, way better. And what happens is that if you get 5 piles of cash in a row, you get a golden ticket. It's kind of like just like Willy Wonka. You win that, and then you get a tour of the Koch brothers establishment. You get to go to their factory where they, kill minorities and all of that stuff. And you get to see how everything works. Again, it's just like Willy Wonka. It's like, oompa, oompa, doopity-dee. You are now racist and rich as can be. Oompa, loompa, doopity-doy. Your tax rate is less than a PetSmart employee. That's what it is. So, Hoosier Hedge Fund Manager Bingo, I've been trying to win it because I want society's lottery to benefit me. Because people who are hedge fund managers didn't earn that position at all. Nothing is ever earned with this guy. You didn't build that, remember? You're just lucky. You woke up one day with the skills to be a hedge fund manager, and that's what it is. How dare you get ahead in this country? This guy talks about people making $300,000. You got more than enough money. It's more money than you or your family will ever need. First of all, $300,000. I don't make close to $300,000. That'd be pretty freaking sweet. But I know people who make $300,000 a year. They're not rich. This guy seems to feel they are. The same people who have Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. And be prepared for this, folks. This is going to happen with Hillary, and it's even worse. But the same people who demonize those at the top, those who are successful in life, those who have made it, those who are the 1%, they demonize those people. Barack Obama and Michelle Obama are worth $13 million. Now, this guy's talking about $300,000, being like, that's more than your family will ever need. Harry Reid had no problem asking for Mitt Romney's tax returns. Hey, let's see yours, Barack. What kind of charitable givings are you giving with all that money? Are you just writing huge tax checks to the government because that's how you invest, right? This man is absolutely unbelievable. Does that speak for you? Is that the country we are? Seriously, I want to know. Last but not least, he says this, and this about made vomit just projectile vomiting all across the room when I heard this.
If we're going to change how John Boehner and Mitch McConnell think, we're going to have to change how our body politic thinks, which means we're going to have to change how the media reports on these issues and how people's impressions of what it's like to struggle in this economy looks like.
The way we change how Republicans think is from or by the media. We've got to change the way the media reports things. Who's we, Barack? Taken right out of the good old page of Venezuela, aren't we? Attaboy. And you could say, he's crazy, a big leftist, Marxist, socialist. No, he's a progressive. This is not unique. Class warfare is not unique to the Democratic or the liberal side of things. Progressives are on both sides of the aisle. The first progressive, the Bull Moose Party guy, you remember him? Teddy Roosevelt. You know, we grudge no man a fortune in civil life if it is honorably obtained and well used. It is not even enough that it should have been gained without doing damage to the community. We, again, who's we, Teddy? Oh, that's right, that's the government. We should permit it to be gained only so long as the gaining represents benefit to the community. Well, who picks and chooses the money you make and the quote-unquote benefits it gives to your community? Because you could, hedge fund managers, that doesn't benefit the community. Sick 'em! Take their money. They don't deserve it. They didn't earn it. They were society's lottery winners, correct? This guy is unbelievable. I know I keep saying that. I know I sound like a broken record. I don't know what else to say, America. I cannot believe that the media doesn't call this guy out for who he really is. But I will continue to every single week. There are no sacred cows here, and according to me. I attack the left, I attack the right, and Mitch McConnell and John Boehner don't speak for me. I can tell you that right now. So I don't care how Mitch McConnell or John Boehner think, like Barack Obama just said, because I don't think like them. Because I actually have a spine. And I actually have ideals. And I actually have, this thing called a belief in small government, in limited power, and the people actually electing people who represent them, not career politicians. And both sides are in favor of this, and both sides are certainly in favor of large government that continues to have them be employed, and they'll manage life for you because you're just too stupid. Right. This segment of the show, by the way, was brought to you by Amazon.com. Now, if you go to Polititainment.net, our website, the little website that could, which, by the way, I am rocking the Infidel Islamic Extremist Defense t-shirt. I have it. It's on right now. You could have got one, but you still can here shortly. We're going to have the Cafe Press link up there to where you can buy this shirt continued on. It rocks. It's a hit at parties. Chicks totally dig a shirt with bacon that says Infidel. Just throwing that out there. You're going to be the hit of the party. But you know what? you can go to Polititainment.net and buy stuff, but you know where else you probably buy stuff anyway, is on Amazon.com. I mean, who doesn't, right? So typically I know what you do is you go to Amazon.com, you look for stuff, you add stuff to your cart, and you buy it, right? We here at Polititainment are asking you to do one extra step, and this is what it is. Instead of going straight to Amazon.com, just go to Polititainment.net, the little website that could. You'll see the Amazon banner at the top of the page. You click on that. It takes you to Amazon. You buy stuff like you always do. But the cool thing is because you went through Polititainment.net, a portion of everything you buy goes straight to us. Kind of helps us grow a little bit. So make sure you check that out. Go to Polititainment.net. Look for the Amazon banner at the top of the page. Up next, the people in Ferguson are pissed off again. Why? I explain that next here on According to Me. A company that was fighting its way back.
Today, General Motors is back on top as the world's #1 automaker.
A city given a second chance.
What's happening in Detroit can happen in other industries.
Hey, Tommy. Jean is pregnant.
Oh, Bill, that's so awesome. I'm so happy for you.
Just thank God we got our jobs back, right? And then it happened.
Good evening. Today, General Motors linked 7 more deaths to a faulty ignition switch, and it nearly doubled the number of cars it's recalling, from the 780,000 announced earlier this month to nearly 1.4 million.
As the people demand answers.
This is my child. This is my baby girl.
It's because of you my daughter's dead! With the clock ticking. People, we are running out of time! There's only one man who can save them.
Listen up. I need everyone's attention right now. I've been sent here because I'm an expert at recalls. It's going to be a lot of work, a lot of time, but people's lives are at stake.
All this jibber-jabber about these faulty ignition switches? It's just a rumor.
It's not a rumor. Whoa. My guys, they've been working for at least an hour and a half. I think they need a break. Why don't you tell that to Timmy's mother? Because he died because of your faulty ignition switches, and you tell her that you needed a break. Time is not on their side. Do it now! Hey man, I don't know who you think you're talking to. This is a union shop, Jack. I don't want my car fixed, I want answers.
GM is facing a maximum $35 million fine from the government, but now, Scott, because people died, they're also potentially looking at a criminal penalty.
A company, a city, a country lays in the balance. Christopher Walken.
You know, I've never been really fond of Jolly Ranchers, but it's because I've never met one.
Gary Busey. Yay! Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Come on, you have to work harder and faster.
And special guest appearance by Barack Obama.
Let me be clear. I want an investigation. This is making me look bad. When I get done golfing, I want answers.
The summer blockbuster you've been waiting for.
Oh my God, watch out!
Ah!
This summer, Total GM Recall. Instead of liking pictures of your friend's cat or the fact that your friend got past stage 44 on Candy Crush, why not like the According to Me show on Facebook and see everything that we talk about on the show? Just go to facebook.com/According to Me show, like the show page, and you too can be targeted by the IRS. Do it today.
We're gonna spread happiness. We're gonna spread freedom. Obama's gonna change it. Obama's gonna lead 'em.
So let me be clear. You didn't build that.
Everything he's done is clean as a whistle. He's never not only broken any law, he's never done anything wrong. He's the perfect father, the perfect husband, the perfect American.
Hey y'all, this is Sam Janney, or the Bunny as many of you know me by. Your friendly neighborhood bad girl of conservatism. Here to talk to you about my show. I'll talk about conservative issues, my top 10 douchebags of the week, and have some pretty badass conservative guests on the show. All that, plus me, your resident bunny with a chainsaw.
Wednesday nights will never be the same. It's Unapologetically Bunny. Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Back here live at the Waterfront Village with my friend, the zombie, Jonathan. You're looking good. Jonathan just got an awesome face paint job. What do you think?
I like turtles.
All right. You're great, zombie. And good times here at the Waterfront Village.
Your powers combined, I am Captain Planet.
If I only would have known that his show was going to be on there, I would have never invented the internet. According to me.
That scream sounded like Sam Kinison. Ow! Ow! Welcome back to the show, folks. So, the people in Ferguson are outraged. What happened, you say? I mean, could it be, did another innocent, just warm, fuzzy, little, gentle, giant teddy bear guy get shot innocently again? Is that what's going on? No! See? And what's funny is I had this conversation with a friend of mine when Baltimore happened, and I said, oh, wow, look, more paid protesters are there. And I just got this disdain, like, yeah, of course. People show up to protest and get paid for it. It's all about money. It's not because they're ticked off. No, who pays people to protest? This is where'd you get that? Fox News? Just this whole diatribe, and I just sat there going, okay, you're a moron, but it's fine. So guess what? Ferguson, residents of Ferguson, and those who don't even live in Ferguson, but they live somewhere in Missouri, or maybe not even Missouri, they're outraged. You want to know why? Because protesters that were upset about not being paid their promised checks for protested outside of MORE. Now, MORE is Missourians Organizing for Reform and Empowerment. That's what MORE stands for. And you know what? Famous tactic of progressives, which is you just change the name and people are dumb and they'll fall for it anyway, right? Mike Huckabee with Common Core. Be relentless, don't give up, rebrand it, but don't lose focus. Same thing here. Because guess what? You know what MORE used to be? Acorn! And we remember all the scandals involving Acorn, and Mickey Mouse was registered to vote, and it was all fraud, and they were buying votes and doing all these things to try to, but again, it was just to get out there and make sure that people are voting. It is coincidentally, they all are told to vote for one side, but no, it's all about voting, right? Well, Acorn was shamed to death. It became a huge story. You can't be Acorn anymore and anyone think you have any credibility. You should just change their name. Well, a tiger never changes its stripes. And so all MORE is Acorn. And where does Acorn get their money? Well, they get their money from our good friend, George Soros, who funds, about 50% of anything on the left, especially when it comes to agitation. When it comes to protesters, when it comes to rocking the boat, when it comes to anarchists, when it comes to the Occupy Wall Street, when it comes to all those people who want to change the system, it's all George Soros. Because if you follow the pattern of George Soros is kind of the guy who is sitting there in the end when an economy collapses and go, well, that's a shame that all the money's gone and I'm invested in all the companies that will benefit from all the money being gone. Whoa, you'll never guess who's behind MORE. That's, of course, George Soros. But there's outrage, right? You have some tweets here. I'm going to read some of these here. There was a hashtag that was started, by the way, which is hashtag cut the check. Because they be pissed off, yo. Where's my money? So here's some tweets. Ferguson protesters occupying MORE's office at the WCC over allegations that MORE has taken money from the movement check. You have another one. There's a picture of a bunch of people just standing outside an office saying, no infighting here, hashtag cut the check. And there's probably like 20 people outside of this office that are waiting for it. And there's a white guy in the picture. And I say that because he's the only white guy in the picture. The white guy who is in this picture is Jeff Ordewer, who's the founder of MORE. He's a longtime leftist activist, and he's been associated with SEIU and Acorn, and now he's part of MORE. Again, none of this should surprise you. There was a girl who wrote on a little notepad saying, and she tweeted this out as well, "Really? Organized Missouri? How hard is it to hashtag cut the checks?" And she tweeted that out there. So some people got paid, other people's didn't. So, for example, let me just give you an idea. So what did they get paid? Okay, Jason, so you're talking about people getting paid to protest. Okay, so what did they get? Like maybe a sandwich and a couple bucks? I mean, seriously, what did they make? Okay, well, a group of 20 people were paid $50,000. Now, I went to public school. Let me do some math, but I believe that's around $2,500. If not even a little bit more, quite frankly. But let's just say it's $2,500 to protest in the streets and be outraged or fake outraged. You know, I'm getting paid, right? It's the same as somebody else who does something for a check that they may or may not believe in. They're getting paid, so they don't care, right? And then you have some other tweets out there. Slavery is over. You will not make money back on black folk fighting for our liberation and think you're going to keep it. Again, they know the money came in from Soros and MoveOn.org. Why isn't it going to us? I mean, we're the ones who protested. You promised us we were going to get paid if we, were protested and interviewed on CNN and, no justice, no peace, and we yelled all this stuff. Where's our money? Some folks, let's see, Sean J. Jordan. Moreover, one of the young organizers said, no irony at all, that they only got $5,000 in October. So they got a one-time payment of $5,000, and that was it. Oh, well, that sucks to get paid $5,000 to protest. So then you have one other person who tweeted, by the way, saying, and by the way, follow him on Twitter because I'm sure he's very, very insightful, has some great things to share. This is T-Dub, oh my God, at T-Dub, oh my God. Well, I guess we got to plan more summer actions now. Glad we got our own jail support. They never had to bond me out. Y'all just murdered y'all chances of doing anything substantial in this city or nationally. Over $2,700. Hope y'all invest that $2,700 wisely. Who gonna bail y'all out now, stupid MFs? Since y'all wanted to have a second income tax season on hashtag MORE, canceled all Ferguson action for the summer and no more jail support. So, once again, I hope the $2,700 more is worth it to y'all because we're not going to protest anymore unless we get paid. Regardless of the situation, we are not going to protest unless we get paid on this thing. Again, these are the same folks that go to Baltimore. These are the same folks that will continue to go around the country that are funded by the Al Sharptons and the MoveOn.orgs and the Color for Change. This is all George Soros money. Every single bit of it is. And then you have Trayvon Martin's mom who goes from down to Florida up to Baltimore to protest. You think she just went there on her own dime? She just got in her car and drove on up to Baltimore. No, I'm sure it's only about justice, right? There's nothing in it for her. She doesn't want to get paid on her, making T-shirts for her son wearing a hoodie. I mean, she doesn't want to exploit the death of her own son. It's about justice. Unbelievable. These people are absolutely despicable. And when you look at what's happened to the police in Ferguson, and there was a study that came out this week, unrelated but kind of related, in regards to Baltimore, the amount of homicide rate, the homicide rate in the last 30 days in Baltimore has skyrocketed. And people are like freaking out, going, well, there's all these murders going on in Baltimore. We never had these before. Well, when you charge 6 police officers with nothing, and you played a game of darts, and that's how you charged people for wrongful death of a guy who was beating his head against a van and probably did it to himself, what the hell do you think the cops are going to do? What do you think they're going to do? We have a report in progress. There's a shooting outside 88th Street. And screw that! Good luck with that. I'm not going there. What, so I can be accused of killing more innocent black people? No, thank you. I think I'll stay over here and eat a donut or whatever stereotype you think I'm going to do as a cop. Would you get involved? Because I wouldn't. And let's just be honest. Who are the folks with a homicide rate that's increased dramatically? I mean, we're talking like Chicago numbers here. Seriously. Like a homicide per day just in the city of Baltimore, which is way up from what it usually is. Way up. Again, who's impacted by that? Rich white people out in the suburbs? Or your poor blacks in the inner city? I'm guessing the poor blacks in the inner city. Be careful what you wish for. Be careful about how much you want to demonize cops, because you just may get what you wish, which is they're not coming to your neighborhood ever again, whether you want them to or not. Congratulations. Okay. Coming up next, who was the better Van Halen singer? To me? Obvious answer. Not even close. That's next. And more here on According to Me.
The internet will never be the same. You're listening to K98Talk.com.
Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. Let's get
Chuck Graham, state senator's here. Chuck, stand up, Chuck. Let him see you. Oh, God love you. What am I talking about?
Are you conservative in a world of liberal?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're not alone. Hey, I'm Daniel Stafford, host of the Stafford Voice, and I'd like to invite you to tune in each Monday, 10 p.m. Eastern, where I'll break down the events of the week, and together we'll learn about how they affect you. So, sit back and get ready for the good, the bad, and the ugly of talk radio right here on K98 Talk.
Good day to you. As a distinguished gentleman, I need a serious source of news. One that doesn't waste my time when I'm enjoying my tea and crumpets.
White powdered! White powdered!
One that catches the most important stories of the day.
The poop plane.
Was it jet poop? Real serious nonsense. Mondays, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, now on K98 Talk.
Gonna just move in another direction towards the classy.
We'll be classy and not say dildo.
They're completely different from shows that aren't.
He's the honey badger of internet radio.
Oh, the honey badgers are just crazy.
According to me.
Ew, what's that in its mouth? Mouth.
That, folks, was the last song ever recorded with Sammy Hagar as the lead singer of Van Halen, which, quick trivia question for you. What movie was that song from? It happens to be like one of my wife's favorite movies. Anybody know? I'm going to tell you anyway. It's from Twister, the great box office magnum opus film. Helen Hunt was amazing in that film. Twister, yeah. It was from that soundtrack where you have Bill Paxton's in it. I make fun of Bill Paxton's acting almost every time I think of Twister. I think of how bad he is. Just, Joe, things go wrong. You can't explain it. You can't predict it. Killing yourself won't bring your dad back. Stop living in the past. I mean, he's that bad. Seriously, you could take oh my gosh, my 7-year-old could act better than Bill Paxton, and yet somehow he's still in Hollywood and still relevant. I don't get it. But again, that song was from Twister, Humans being the last song done with Sammy Hagar as the lead singer of Van Halen, and I'm talking about this because this is relevant because there's been a lot of news recently about Van Halen. If you haven't paid attention. Okay, so we don't always talk politics here. We talk about things that interest me and my show. That's why. But there was an article that just came out this week from it was an interview with Sammy Hagar in which he was being asked about the new live album with Van Halen with David Lee Roth back as the singer. And Hagar and Roth have hated each other forever. And so because of that, I think a lot of people have already are in camps in regards to who was the better Van Halen singer. Is it Roth? Is it Hagar? And so what Hagar said in regards to David Lee Roth's performance, if you will, on the live album is there's some pretty rough vocals. I try to stay away from criticism, but here I am already starting this interview with it. It's impossible to stay away from. Standing back, I'm just going, what in the blank are these guys thinking? Every time they do something, I'm like, oh my God, can these guys do anything worse to their reputation and to the level of the music of the band? Now that sounds harsh, right? That sounds crappy. Like, whoa, that's sour grapes just because David Lee Roth's back with the band. I couldn't agree more, and I'll tell you why. This has been a debate that a lot of my friends and I have had back and forth, and it's a very divided camp. And I'm curious, you as my listener, we've never talked about this on the show. But when it's you usually are on one side or the other, and that is who is the better singer for Van Halen. And I say unquestionably, without a doubt, in my mind, it's Sammy Hagar. Without question. Sammy Hagar is clearly the better singer for Van Halen and just overall. And I understand that David Lee Roth, there was some hits with Roth. You had Ain't Talking About Love, you had Running with the Devil, you had Unchained, you had Panama, you have Hot for Teacher. Jump is okay. Jump's it's all right. I think it's overrated if you want my opinion. But then you have some bad Roth songs. That's what everyone talks about. Dude, Panama's freaking awesome, dude. That was Roth. Running with the Devil was Roth. There's some great Roth songs. You're right. There absolutely is. But they also got And the Cradle Will Rock, which is god-awful. Pretty woman walking down. That's terrible. You have Dancing in the Streets. You have Dance the Night Away. Just a bunch of dancing in the early 80s with Van Halen. You Really Got Me's okay, but it's a remake. The only reason why it's any good is because the guitar on it's awesome. Roth's terrible in the song. And then when you look at the hits with Hagar, I understand that it was a different band. Don't get me wrong. It was a different band at the time. They matured a little bit. I get it. You look at Dreams. You look at Why Can't This Be Love? When It's Love. Pound Cake. Right Now. Run Around. Don't Tell Me. I can't stop loving you. And then of course we have Humans Being, who I just played in a little bit, which is actually a pretty good song. Really good. Bad vocals, though. That's one of the only songs I didn't like that Hagar did. And the lyrics are bad, too. But it rocks. The song kicks ass. And that's the key to a lot of the Roth stuff, is musically it's outstanding. But if you really break it down, Roth is terrible. He really is. And so I think really the only way to really break the ties, let's look at what they've done on a solo level. You look at, the only thing that even made David Lee Roth even standable as a solo artist is he had Steve Vai as his guitar player. Other than that, okay, fine, you had, Yankee Rose was a good song. Just Like Paradise was okay. But for those, you have Just a Gigolo, which is terrible. California Girls. And what most people say is he sold a lot of albums, dude. He sold a ton of albums. You can say what you want, but California Girls was real popular. So was Milli Vanilli. The Baja Men sold a lot of albums with Who Let the Dogs Out. Who gives a crap? It's terrible. I have ears. I'm sorry. And if you look at Hagar solo stuff, and you look heavy metal, I Can't Drive 55, There's Only One Way to Rock, Your Love is Driving Me Crazy. You have all that. He has some really good solo stuff, too. Plus, he was a star before. He was with Montrose. Sammy Hagar was a star before, during, and after Van Halen. Whereas if you look at David Lee Roth, you have nothing before, star during Van Halen, decent after, and that's it. And the dude went away for decades until recently when he reunites with the band. And what's so funny about it is if you go back through their catalog, when Sammy was with the band, he would sing Ain't Talking About Love and Running with the Devil and Panama and Unchained. He would at least sing some of the Roth songs. And recently, Dave was asked, "Hey, why in your tours that you're doing right now aren't you singing any of the Hagar stuff?" And this is part of the reason why I think David Lee Roth is also not only not as an inferior singer to Sammy Hagar, but he's also just a complete D-bag. And he's like, well, there's a credibility issue here. Roth told Billboard magazine this. He said, hey, look, good, bad, or in the middle, you know Roth means it. The other guy doesn't. Again, he's talking in third person. Only douchebags talk in third person. And that's why it sold half as well. Literally. Half. Never did better than half. And so why would I bring those songs into the proceedings? This hamburger don't need no helper. Ain't no rehearsing pants in my closet. Spoken like a true asshat. Could be an asshat of the week candidate. He's not, but he should be. I mean, David Lee Roth is absolutely just a complete douchebag jerk that no one gets along with ever. He really is. I mean, he's coked up out of his mind, and he's not that good. He really isn't that good. And to me, the answer's obvious as to who the better singer is. To me, it's not even close. It's really not even close. You have Sammy Hagar, who's a star, and all David Lee Roth was the cool guy who got chicks. Congratulations. That doesn't mean you're a good singer. It doesn't mean you're a good front man. You're a goofball. You act like a moron, and you're Dr. Roxo.
Dr. Roxo, the rock and roll clown. I do cocaine.
That's it. Yeah, baby. Woo! And so when you hear the Van Halen brothers talk in 96 about Roth in this way.
More important, or as important to remember, is that the fact that the 1984 Dave is a lot different than the 1996 Dave. And to have gone on tour with him would have not only embarrassed the band, it would have insulted the audience. If we would have started in Toledo, we would have never even made it to Cleveland.
So, Alex Van Halen, let me get this straight. In 1996, you would have embarrassed the band and you would have embarrassed your fans if you brought David Lee Roth up on stage because he was an embarrassment. But yet in 2015, he's not? Listen to this. This is a cut off their live album. I can't even... If you like Van Halen, you will... Please defend this as a Roth fan. If you're a Roth fan, please defend this. This is the worst... Oh, my God. Words can't describe how bad this is.
Mama, what's that sound? Did you call for a job? I job, but I never know. Model citizen, zero discipline. I do know she's coming home with me. You know she's coming home with me. You know the like a mama shiny machine. Got the feel for the wheel. Get the mummy pipes greasy. I job, but I never know. Get it on the ramp, straight up, yo.
What in the hell was that? That's Panama. What was that? What is that?
Mama, what's that sound? Did you call for a job?
No. My God. That's like taking just a beautiful filet mignon and taking a dump on it. That's what you just did. You just took Panama and you put that douche nozzle behind a microphone. He's terrible. And most people are like, okay, look, Diamond Dave isn't what he used to be, right? But I mean, the dude's almost 60 years old. Back off. I mean, you got to understand. Dude's 60, man. I mean, he can't be doing this forever. Okay. Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden's 56 years old, still runs around the stage like a maniac. I mean, seriously, he's just drenched in sweat. He's running up and back and forth on the stage, up and down stairs, up and down like platforms and all types of crap like that. Dude's 56. Dio was 66, died when he was 67. The year before he died, he had cancer for God's sake and still sounded amazing. Steven Tyler's 67. Aerosmith still sounds pretty good live. So don't give me this, well, he's gotten kind of old excuse. He's awful. I'm telling you, if you want to laugh, whether you like Van Halen or not, if you want to laugh, listen to their most recent live album. I don't know what the name of it is because I don't care enough to know. But it's god-awful and it's embarrassing. And they should be embarrassed to put out such crap. Before we get to the asshat of the week, I want to talk about this really quick because this actually kind of hit home close to me. And I don't mean home as in like this is my family or anything, but home as in like this is in my community. So, Berrien County is in Michigan. And again, I'm in Indiana, northern Indiana, so I'm really close to Berrien County. And a Berrien County judge decided that a 19-year-old will spend 25 years on the registered sex offender list for having consensual sex with a girl who lied about her age. Okay, so Zachary Anderson is his boy's name. He's a college student. He met a girl in the over 18 section of the Hot or Not website. Over 18, they started talking. She told him she was 17, and they arranged a date. He picked her up at her house. It wasn't until detectives started knocking on his door that he realized that the girl was 14. And at the time, they had consensual sex. So he's like, this girl looks younger than 17 years old, but okay, whatever. Well, he didn't listen to that inner monologue. He spent 90 days in jail. He has to serve 5 years on probation and spend 25 years on the Michigan Sex Offender Registry at its April sentencing. And this is what infuriates me. Now, the family's trying to fight this back. This is something I've been saying for a long, long, long time. Just like in the war on drugs, getting caught with a bag of weed in some states is just like having just 10 pounds of coke in your trunk. It's the same thing. And it's the same way we treat sex offenders, which is diddling an 8-year-old boy and sleeping with a girl who lies to you about her age gives you the same penalty. Now, the interesting thing about this is, regardless, the mother of the girl and the girl themselves are like, we feel terrible. Look, seriously, yes, I was 14, but I lied to him. This was consensual. Please don't do this to him. And so you have the Holmes Youthful Trainee Act. This is in Michigan, which applies to individuals between the ages of 17 and 21 with clean records. So it's a way of saying, hey, if you're of a young age, if you have a clean record, we'll kind of show you a little bit of leniency depending on what the charge is. And the girl's mother is like, look, please drop the case. Seriously, we don't want to charge him at all for this. Now think about what this young man's life is going to be for the rest of his life. For the next 25 years, he's not allowed to live at his parents' house, live near schools or parks, or have any interaction with anybody under the age of 17. Think of that. This young man's life is ruined. Ruined by a stupid-ass law. And it's about time that we have an absolute distinction between pedophiles and child rapists and this type of situation. Because this isn't even let me quote Samuel L. Jackson. It ain't the same league. It ain't even the same effing sport. That's what this is. It's not the same league. Not even close. And this young man's life's going to be over. It's ruined. 25 years. He will have to be on a website. What kind of career is this guy going to have? Registered sex offender? You think people don't look at that? Unbelievable. Folks, we have to change these kind of laws. We have to change these kind of laws. Look, I'm not okay with the fact that he had sex with an underage child. But when the judge is like, look, and he said this, well, I mean, you went to a website looking for sex. Oh, pardon the hell out of me. Because I'm sure 18-year-olds aren't online looking for sex. No, not at all. I'm sure he was just doing homework the entire time. He's 18. What the hell do you think he's doing? I'm not saying it's right, but this young man's life is ruined. Ruined because of this. We have to make a distinction. We've got to do better. Infuriates me that this law is the way it is. You don't like it? I don't care. It's according to me. But it is time for this week's Ass Hate of the Week.
It is time for this week's Ass Hate of the Week.
We have a special birthday to celebrate today. That's right, because rarely is it. We've been doing the Ass Hate of the Week every week for, 2 years now, maybe? We've been doing the Ass Hate of the Week every single week, and it's always about something somebody did, usually right then and there. And this happened at the same day last week, and if you heard the show last week, I shamed Donald Trump for trying to score political points by tweeting about Amtrak and the accident and everything that happened is our infrastructure is bad and you need a guy who can fix it like me. I build things because I'm Don the Builder. That whole situation. But I didn't see that this person also used the tragedy to try to score political points. And I don't like to go back. I don't like to turn back time, but
I don't know why I did the things I did. I don't know why I said the things I said. Pride's like a knife, it can cut deep inside. Words are like weapons, they wound sometimes.
You regret the things you said. You didn't mean to say those words. Words are like weapons, they can hurt sometimes. That's right. Those are the very, 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 very insightful lyrics of one Cher, who, by the way, is born in 1946. Her birthday's today. That's right. Happy birthday, Cher. And we're about to give you a gift. And that is the asshat of the week. And you want to know why? Because right after the Amtrak accident, hours ago, Republicans chose to cut some of the meager funds for Amtrak, she tweeted. She then went on to say they did this even after the train crash and loss of life last night. Then she went on to say the majority of GOP congressmen and senators don't give a flying F about the well-being of Americans. They'll defund everything people desperately need. Cher, Cher, Cher. I do believe in love after love. Do you believe in common sense? Do you believe that Amtrak is a private company that should invest on their own? But they don't, because they're propped up by the United States government. And why are they propped up by the United States government? Because it has been a miserable, failing organization for 2+ decades. Some funds in some parts of the country are ridiculously high, in which a lot of Amtrak trains are completely empty. You have several cars that has no one even on the train. Why? Would you be on the train when it costs you $200 to go from Milwaukee to Chicago, damn near? Of course not. But hey, it's environmentally friendly because you're taking the train, right? Amtrak has been a miserable failure for years and years and years and years, and yet people still depend on it as if it's, not a car. There's many other means of transportation that are way better, and I'm not knocking public transit as a whole, but for the love of God, Amtrak sucks, and it has sucked for a long, long time. But you know what? Let's say Amtrak was great. Hey, Cher, this just in. No amount of funding, no amount of investment from the GOP, who hates everyone, is going to prevent a derailment of a train that was going 105 miles an hour when it should have been going 50. There's nothing you can do. We're not riding the bullet train in Tokyo here. We're riding the freaking Amtrak. So it wouldn't have mattered, Cher. And it really bothers me that I missed this last week, because if I could turn back time, I too would have made her the asshat of the week. But because it's her birthday, and because I can, Cher, this is for you. Cher, this is for you. If I could turn back time, back to last Wednesday, I would reconsider my asshat, and I'd say, you are a mad liberal, you are a stupid douche, you're the asshat of the week, it's true. If I could have turned back.
Tune in next week for another exciting installment of Asshat of the Week.
Always look on the bright side of life. Always look on the light side of life.
That's going to put the finishing touches on this week's episode of According to Me. We learned the despicable comments that Barack Obama said this week. We learned that people in Ferguson are still outraged because they ain't getting paid, yo. We learned that Sammy Hagar is clearly the better singer of Van Halen. It's not even questionable. We learned that Bill Paxton's a terrible actor. We learned that sex offender laws need to be changed, like, quickly and make a distinction. And we learned that Cher is an absolute despicable political hack asshat of the week. We'll be back next week for Faster Than You Could Say Fierce with another episode. And this has been the news of this week, according to me. We'll be back next week. See ya. Good night, America.
First things happen at sea, you know? What you got to lose? You know, you come from nothing, you're going back to nothing. What you lost? Nothing! Nothing will come from nothing.
Mama, I love you. P.O.P. Hold it down. Right, these all good pimps, boy, baby, for life.